Here we go, here we go. Fantastic stuff. Nothing better than watching a float disappear and latch into a hard fighting barbel. Don't think it's an especially big one, but this is what we've been after. Might not be very big, but like all barbel, they certainly know how to fight. It's giving a good account of itself. Nearly ready now, I reckon. Fantastic, a barbel on the float. We'll just let that rest in the margins for a little while now. I don't want to lift it out of the water straight away.
Hey, well done, Mick.
Thanks, Bob. Nice fish, pleased with that.
Would you say
Just lay
that
down?
this is a typical wharf fish?
That's right, it's a nice fish, about £5. It's about average size for the River Wharfe.
Yeah.
We'll just sort the hook out.
We'll just have a quick look at this fish and we'll get it back as soon as we can. When I'll take the line off here.
There we go.
There we go, that's out of the way.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not the monsters we expect from some of the southern rivers, but this is a true Yorkshire fish, isn't it?
That's right. It's like I say, it's about average size for most of the Yorkshire rivers. A fish of about £5.
Yeah.
And all the better for having been caught on the float.
And they do fight well, don't they?
They do.
Look, we've proved you can do it. Let's get this fish straight back in the water, and then let's run through the tackle. Is that okay with you?
Right, great, Bob. Yeah.
All right. Cheers then, mate. Alright, Mick, this is where it gets a little bit trickier for you, because I'm going to pick your brains a bit.
Right.
You put that fish back there, cracking fish, well done.
Yep. Cheers,
well
Bob,
done,
thank you.
That's irrelevant, because you know, you've had some big fish on the float, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yeah. Some really nice
so,
fish.
I mean, it's just showing the method.
Yeah.
Let's run us first through the tackle you're using here. You
Yeah.
know, your rod here, what kind of rod have you got?
Right, this rod, it's a 1 3/4 pound test curve. This particular makes the peregrine.
Yeah.
Although it's a 1 3/4 pound, it's got a really nice through action as this, and it's perfect for playing big barbel on comparatively small hooks.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's a really nice action rod. It's a rod I enjoy using.
Yeah. And is that 12 foot, 11 foot?
That's it. It's a 12 foot rod.
Yeah. That's pretty much the standard now for barbel fishing. It's gone up from the 11 foot that most people started out on.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, some of our viewers have noticed in one of our previous films that Steve Pope was using a centre pin, and now there's this common theme appearing here. You're using a centre pin reel. Why?
I think it just adds to the enjoyment of fishing. There are circumstances where personally I find a centre pin to be actually advantageous, but to me it's when you're not having to cast particularly far. If you're fishing at close range, you just feel that direct control with the fish. You're not playing it through a clutch.
Yeah.
And I just feel that you've just got a better feel for what the fish is doing. And I just enjoy playing fish on a centre pin reel. It just adds to the enjoyment of it.
I'd have to agree with you, because I have a collection of pins myself, and you know, I use them for fun. If I want pleasure from my fishing, then I'll probably use one. But if I want to become technical and really fish hard just for fish, it's back to the reels.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, and it's loaded with what?
This is £10 monofill straight through.
Yeah.
I've tried braids for various things over the years, and I think the disadvantages of them outweigh the advantages, even as hook length material. I use them quite a lot going back a few years ago. I can't honestly say my catch has improved, so I went back to good old reliable monofill, and it's what I catch all my fish on.
Yeah, something that just happened there when you moved that. That's the original bite alarm, isn't it?
Absolutely. yeah. I think anybody who wants to get up on the high horse about buzzers going off, it's really no different, I don't think, from a centre pin screeching away when you're ledgering with them.
Just for technical detail, what kind of a centre pin is this?
This particular one, it's one that we designed in the Barbel Catchers Club, along with a chap called Gary Mills, who has his own workshop down in Redditch. A few years ago it was pointed out that we didn't think there was the absolutely perfect centre pin reel for barbel fishing on the market. So Gary said to the Barbel Catchers Club, he says, right, you tell me all the features that you want to see in a centre pin reel, and I'll build it for you.
Very briefly, what are those features?
Well, one of the really unique features is it's got a variable ratchet, and on the inside of the side plate here there's a cam, and by adjusting that lever it can either go extremely free running or extremely stiff.
That's good. I like that. That is.
And what it means is if you're ledgering, particularly in a big flood where there's debris coming down, you're not having to trap your line to stop your centre pin from revolving all the time. So that's one particular feature which was unique to this reel, and it was something that we suggested as a club we would like to see incorporated in the reel.
From there then.
Yeah.
We can forget the rod and reel at this point, can't we? So what I'm going to do for safety's sake, I'm just going to put this around there out of the way.
Yep.
The most important thing you're using here.
That's right.
Float.
Yeah. This particular one, it's a handmade Avon.
Yeah.
It takes 5 treble A shot. What I do is I put one extra one on and fish it slightly overshotted when I'm laying on.
Can I just bring you back a bit? You just said there Avon.
Yeah.
This is a crow quill Avon, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Built on a crow quill. And is this the balsa body?
It is,
or is
that's
it the pith body?
Good question, I didn't make it. So I don't know if you can recognise it, Bob, and go back to it, but it looks like balsa.
The toppers that they use on the Bristol Avon, they're made of elder pith.
That's right, yeah.
That does look like a balsa.
That's right, yeah.
But basically all that means is it's very light material. Okay, because the idea is there's no weight to this float. The lead goes out, doesn't it? Well, I say lead, we're on non-toxic shots now. Yeah. Important thing here though is 3 rubbers.
That's right, yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in ahead of you.
That's okay.
No, for me, if you don't have those 3 rubbers, what happens then if you don't have that one there is it breaks. It pulls it round when you get a fish on, doesn't it?
That's right.
But not many people are going to be able to pick one of those up in the local tackle shop. Could they use a different float? You
can certainly get ones that are very, very similar indeed. I've got quite a few of the Topper Haskins floats, which you do see in tackle shops all around the country, and that's doing exactly the same as the famous Topper Haskins. I like using them. I have got a few of his floats myself.
But if people can't get hold of one of these, the old Avons, the glass ones, like the Drennan ones they do that are plastic, would they'd still be okay to use them?
Yeah, they'll be absolutely fine.
Right, so anybody can use this?
Yeah, definitely.
So what we've done here, did you plumb the depth?
I did.
No. And where did you set the float in relation to the depth?
Right. First of all, I'll explain how I go about it. As I say, that particular float carries 5 treble A.
Yes.
So what I do is I overshot it anyway because it's how I like to fish when I'm laying on. Yeah. So once it's overshotted with 6 treble A's, I then use that effectively as the plummet. Yeah. So I'll lower that into the margins, into the depth where I'm going to be fishing. I'll find out exactly the depth of the swim, and then once I've found the exact depth, I'll add roughly 18 inches, to the depth, and then I'll test it a couple of times, and it's a bit of trial and error really, depending on how little or how much flow you've got in your swim. You may find that you have to adjust that extra depth that you put on to make the float sit comfortably on the surface. So if there's a little bit of pace in the swim, I might have to add 2 feet. If the swim's very slack, I might pull it back and only have to add 12 inches. But that all becomes apparent once you've cast out and you see your float sat in the swim, and then you can decide as to how much you want to adjust it.
Well, you're not getting away with this one here. Let's have a look down here. You have got your shot's not on the main line, is it?
That's right.
Why?
Because I'm a tight Yorkshireman, and I don't like losing them.
Right.
So I'll just give a little explanation of what I've done here. When I tied the length of mono which makes up the hook length, I deliberately left a long tail where I've tied it onto the swivel.
I've got you,
And what it means is I can bite the shot onto that tail that I've left as hard as I want.
Right.
Bite them off on really hard.
You don't have to worry about damaging the line because it's not playing the fish.
Exactly. So the line that's playing the fish is completely clear of any shot and therefore can't be damaged. And because I've bitten those shot onto the tail as hard as I want to do, they don't ping off when I'm playing the barbel. If you put the shot on the main line and just press them on lightly so that you don't damage your line, you'd probably lose all of them every time.
During the fight with the fish.
Every time you hooked a barbel, and as we know, non-toxic shot aren't particularly cheap.
No, they're not.
And the idea of losing half a dozen.
Good.
The idea of losing half a dozen every single time I hook a barbel would make me cry to sleep on a night.
If you lived a bit further north, you might just be tying pebbles on them.
That's right, yeah, exactly, Bob.
Okay then. All right, just one question there. You've got a swivel. Does the swivel have a purpose there?
Basically, it's just my favourite way of connecting 2 lengths of line together, which, because I want this tail there to put my bulk shot on, it just...
Because we're not talking delicate dust shots here, it's just almost like putting another shot on, isn't it? But
that's right,
giving you somewhere there. So, right, hook link. Same strength, bracket strain?
Yeah, it's still £10 mono. Like I say, I fish it effectively straight through. £10 main line, £10 mono hook length. You don't need to fish light for barbel, even when you float fishing, and well, certainly when you're laying on. Anyway,
and that is probably 15 to 18 inches.
That's right.
So that's over on top of the depth. So
that's right.
So if you had the depth at 8 feet, you've got another 18 inches here, so that's 9.5 feet, and then probably another 18 inches at the top end. So you're fishing 11 feet deep from hook to float tip in 8 feet of water.
That's right.
That's brilliant.
The particular swim that we fish today is probably only about 4 feet at normal depth. The river's about a foot up today, so it's 5 feet from shot to float. I've then added 18 inches as well. And then with the 15 to 18 inches at the bottom, the whole rig's probably about 7 to 8 feet long.
Now, your rig here. Hook, what pattern?
It's a Fox Series 2 XS. It's a hook I've been using for a couple of years now, and I've been just really impressed with them. They're very strong and very sharp, and when you're fishing over hard gravel and dragging your tackle in and out during the course of a day, I found the points just don't go over at all, which is a problem I found with other hooks.
Slightly incurved point, which is great on gravel, isn't it?
That's right,
because it protects it from losing the point off there.
Right,
it looks like a grinner knot to the eye of the hook.
That's right.
And then look, you've not done the standard liner knot, you've actually tied on a hair here.
That's right.
And a little bait band.
That's right, yeah.
Tell me more.
It's the way I prefer to fish a bait band. For the simple reason, on a lot of the fisheries I fish, they are quite prolific, and on occasions you can catch quite a lot of fish in a day. And the idea of faffing about super gluing the pellets onto a hair every single time I catch a fish or they come off, I just feel it's a little bit of a pain. So what I prefer to do, Bob, is to have my pellets...
I was going to ask you about these, because you've got a bag full of these already prepared.
That's right,
yeah. You're not daft, right? These are ellipse pellets.
That's right.
And you've glued them end to end.
Yeah.
Most people are gluing them back to back, aren't
they?
That's right,
yeah.
That was the first thing I spotted when you went in that bag.
Yeah.
And of course, you show me.
Well, by super gluing them end to end, it creates a natural seam. And then, because I don't have to faff about super gluing them up every single time I want to bait my hook up, all I do is pop that band in and it drops naturally into the seam between the pellets.
Done in seconds.
And it's just a really quick way of baiting up.
It's brilliant, that. Brilliant. As soon as I saw that, I thought, that's something that's going on with me. I'm robbing that.
Right.
I'm going to pinch that from him.
Fair enough, Bob.
Yeah, I'll be writing about this soon in all the magazines, and I invented it. No, it's that's Mick's idea, and it just goes to show, you know, after years of using pellets myself, you learn something new every day just by watching other anglers, and it does pay to talk to other anglers. You know, you learn from each other if you do that.
Absolutely.
So, okie doke then. I think you ought to be back fishing now, because that swim's now had sort of half an hour to settle down.
That's right. We might just get another one.
Prime for another one.
Yeah. Okay then.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Mick.
Right, you're welcome.
What a cracking day we had with Mick there, and what a way to fish for barbel using a float.
Yeah, it's a superb way to catch fish, but what it does above all else, it avoids having a really tight line through the water.
Yeah.
If you've got a tight line, it's like a tripwire.
Yeah.
And if you look in this next section, you're going to see some things here that will really worry you. It worries me.
So let's start here, Bob, by putting some main line in the swim, and let's see what happens. That's the lead gone in, and we've got the main line running from the top left down to the lead.
So this is the equivalent of somebody fishing and a line running through the swim to the lead.
Yeah.
As we know, it's bound to be off bottom.
Yeah. Chub's just gone over it. Not bothered by the sight of it. Now we've got a barbel coming up. Let's see what happens here. I'm sure he can see it, but it's when he touches it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
And what's amazing, the sound that generates, it's not just the touch, that can spook the fish as well. Lead in the same position. This time I've got a big barbel. This is a double figure barbel coming up here.
Yeah.
Let's watch what happens. He can see that line, but he's not bothered. It's all about the touch.
He's swum underneath it there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Now his flank's next to it.
Yeah.
The line's behind the fish, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And he's going to turn.
He's feeding away, he's ignoring it.
He's
just touched it.
And he dragged the lead there as well.
Yeah.
And spooked it. Same setup again. This time I've got a chub and a barbel feeding.
Where's the line here?
Same place again. Now what was interesting here was the fish behind that spooked and the other one went with it.
Yes.
The one in front didn't spook on the line, it was the one behind. Same position again, we've got the lead. We've got some barbel coming up. Oh, that was a big spook, wasn't it? Cleared the swim, cleared the swim, that one.
It's a bit like hysteria, isn't it? You know, one's frightened, everybody's frightened.
I mean, this is a lovely scene here. You've got a group of barbel just working up, troughing the way. We've got this is the bow in the line. They're happy at the moment, aren't they? Feeding away.
Yeah, they're unaware that there's any tackle in there.
Now, just off camera here, we're gonna get one that's gonna touch. Ooh,
and they all
gone. For good luck, there's one at the end just touched it again. Yeah. Swim cleared.
Yeah.
But it's not just barbel that spook on the line.
And you could have spent an hour getting those fish there. And that
chub
went just
and
as
they'll
easily.
take your barbel out with you as well.
Yeah.
So we can use things such as backleading, can't we, Bob? What great technique for pinning your line down.
Yeah, just run us through this, Stu.
Yeah.
You've got a back lead on the main line.
Yeah, main lead, and then a hook link. So the back lead's typically 3-4 foot above your lead.
Yeah. Pin it, so that's going to pin the line to the bottom so the fish can't run into it.
Yeah, but the problem is, we'll watch it first working well. So the back lead's in the swim. You can